Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you one more time for coming to the show. I'm going to be talking about how Amazon seller can scale their business with e-commerce service on e-commerce way of working. I know we are based on Amazon, most of us, most of the time, but we have a lot of opportunity if we go and then we change our method or our business from Amazon itself to website. Today, I'm going to bring one expert, my friend Mate, that I met a long time ago. Not a long time ago, well, no, close time that I met him in Slovenia, and we're going to be talking about how you use their service to scale your business. So please give it up for my friend Mate. Mate, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Hi, Wildo. Hello. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Nice to see you again after a while.
Yeah, to give you a little background to the people, I have the opportunity to go to your country where you guys welcome me with open arms. There was an event where a lot of entrepreneur and business owner were meeting there to exchange idea how to leverage social America and how to exchange idea and business. So can you tell them how was a little bit that even.
Yeah, we were actually having a get together. Like usually once per year, we meet physically. Mostly all of us work online. Our agency is actually based in UK, in London, but the team is all over the Europe and also outside of the Europe. So we just try to schedule one date per year and doing our best to actually meet, yeah, and then just good conversations usually and good ideas start when people come together, and so had the opportunity to meet you.
It's true. It's true. Like when people have the same idea or the same goals, and we met together, we can achieve a lot of good things. And that's the goal. The goal of this session today. Like how people who is doing one type of business can do another type of business or can leverage idea and how to implement those ideas. And then talking about business, what specifically are you guys doing for other people like me or sellers that would like to know about how they can leverage this type of service?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. Wildo, actually, that day when we met, yeah, a friend that was also there asked me, but hey, do you know somebody that's actually focusing only on Amazon? Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think 2 hours later we met. So to simplify, we do most of the things. I won't say everything, yeah. Just not Amazon. That's not what we specialize in, yeah. Focusing on two verticals: e-commerce and hospitality, and covering paid, owned, and earned media. So trying brands, to grow either by within the e-commerce sector and hospitality, a little bit different, but still the goals are similar. Yeah, scaling their sales.
Yeah, I'm sharing right here your website so people can go and check what service you guys provide. And I'm gonna link their website on the description. So if you guys have some question in Spanish or in English, you can leave it on the comment section, or you can reach out to us. Also, Matei has some background in Spanish language, so he was in Spain. So I know that you can answer some people in Spanish as well, right?
Yes, yes. I live actually otherwise in Barcelona, so
Mm-hmm.
we. But yeah, my let's say my Spanish is only very good among friends. Yeah, uh,
Yeah, only to survive.
no problem. No. Yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, before I open my mouth, it's obvious that I'm not local. So, but
Yeah, yeah, but it's good. I mean, anyway, like you been living in different part of the world, you have a different point of view to see things, and of course also to connect with people, but also how the customer need are changing and are evolving with the time. So I wanted to know when you how you start this type of like the e-commerce centralizing hospitality and e-commerce business.
I actually started, I think, 2009, when the e-commerce still used to be wild, wild west. Still, at least in Slovenia, I'm local Slovenian. Otherwise, yeah. So things were quite different, yeah. Again, I'm not talking about Amazon, but the digital marketing covering, Google Ads, Facebook, and then slowly other platforms were coming. So there were no there were no tracking. We had to do things more experimentally. Yeah? We had to experiment and A/B test and find our way to actually sell things. Yeah. So my journey started by actually owning shops online.
Okay.
Again, without Amazon. Yeah, Amazon for us at that time was still very far. Yeah, for us in Slovenia. So in one moment we owned shops from Slovenia, Croatia, Italy, Hungary, and so on. Yeah, so we were localizing. Yeah, shops and scaling within Europe. Yeah, and then also in UK. But then slowly we actually noticed that if you are not, the conversation we had actually a couple of, I think 1 week ago, and I was just today explaining to one of my clients, if you don't own a product, don't build a brand, possibly have a complete distribution in your hands, it's difficult to actually survive online. Yeah.
True.
And if you're just a reseller, it's very difficult without a brand. Yeah. So especially at that moment, Amazon was actually, covering also local parts of Europe. So we noticed the best thing is just to exit, yeah, and to sell e-commerce shop that we had, and we had a good moment, yeah. And then actually the base of our previously e-commerce company became the foundation of the agency, yeah. And we strategically, because we had a team, we had the contacts globally, we positioned ourselves in UK because then you have access to different information that otherwise in little countries like Slovenia is usually difficult. Yeah, but I think you know how it is in smaller markets. Yeah,
It's
so
it's
that's my journey. Yeah, that's my
yeah,
journey.
it's always I always tell a student or people that I work with like, hey, build a brand, build a brand with the product that you love, the passion that you can put there, and of course, when you have a strong brand, a strong connection with your client, then you can outsource. I mean, scale those brand. Like you have the base, like the foundation that you need to even go to go to the small market to even bigger market, or cross the sea. Like sometimes we are in Europe, and then you can go to America and sell the product, or Latin America and sell your product because you have like the strong uh, base of the brand. Okay, you bring it, you have a good packaging, you have a good product, you have good story, like a strong uh, story that you can share with people. Because and then we are selling to other people. Then when you tell the story, you tell the whole journey of the brand. People relate to that. People say, "Hey, we we want that. We love that. We are not only to pay the price of the product, but also we're gonna share with everybody of our family or friends, and then our community and social media, whatever, you know." So I wanted to ask you, what do you think that Amazon only seller often overlook?
I think it's like we have a lot of synergy here. Yeah, so I think if
Mhm.
I would ask you similar question, I think you would give me similar reply. You know,
Mhm.
we always think that the grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah. So, I think we don't have an option. Yeah. We have to go wider and deeper. So more channels, more sovereignty, being less dependent only from one platform, I think it's better. Now, challenge is of course how to manage everything. Yeah? In our cases, because we don't deal with Amazon, yeah, just understanding Google Ads, yeah, and with all of the complexity, you need time, yeah. Meta, the same. Now, you have TikTok and all the others, yeah. So you need a team, and you need a team of specialists, yeah. So that's why I think when you come to certain point when you see that either you would like to grow from margin, yeah, because I guess that also, you need a good product market fit on Amazon, yeah, I'm quite sure, although I don't know the platform deep enough, yeah. So if all of those indicators are actually working for you, not against you, yeah, and if you're profitable and if you're growing, yeah, sooner or later you most probably ask yourself why not to scale outside of the platform, yeah. So I
True.
think that that's a good moment to ask you. Or another question, to ask yourself is, maybe I don't have so good margins, yeah, and I would like to actually a bit more independent, yeah, from the platform, yeah. So I think this kind of a questions, yeah, either by growing from the market share, yeah, or having a better margins, yeah. In this case, maybe growing outside of a platform as Amazon, or most probably this is also vice versa for me. Yeah? In this
Yeah.
case, it's good to research and do a step forward.
I have conversation with some people that they say, "Hey, I will know. Our business is not about margin. Our business is about velocity. We want to sell a lot. Our margin are thin, but we want to sell a lot of volume. We don't go for profit margin like other people. Like there are different mindset from the business point of view. For example, when we talk about factories, they don't go on big margins. They go on volume. And when we have another type of like brand builder or wholesaler, or no, wholesaler has less margin, but when we go to like private label, or people who create the product from the idea, they go on bigger margins, and then there are always pros and cons for each type of business. And to know more a little bit, like to understand your part of the business, like your the way that e-commerce work. Because for me, I kind of play around with the e-commerce in the past, but I never really understood the the key point of the journey. So could you tell me a little bit how can a seller can expand to the e-commerce, or what are the first steps that a seller could do in order to go to the e-commerce world?
I think that steps most probably are similar than in your case, yeah. Both of us are talking about e-commerce, yeah. Just the platforms, the tools are different, yeah. So it used to be more difficult, yeah, because let's be honest, without a website or a shop, yeah, you can't do sales, you can't do all of this what we were talking about, yeah. So website, shop, that's definitely something that you need, yeah. Now, years ago this was much more challenging than now, yeah. Now you have platforms that actually can enable you to actually do things without any kind of specific technical skills. You don't need to be programmer, you don't need to be a designer, yeah. So now it's actually easier, yeah. And at the same time, because it's easier, yeah, because let's say somebody who has an idea of the product can actually just by drop shipping sell with help of Shopify, yeah, then of course you have a competition, yeah. So again, the same basic principles. Yeah, if you have a good product market fit, if you have a good margins, if actually people are actually referring your product and coming back, then with the competition or without the competition, it will work out. Yeah, but there are some basic steps, as I mentioned. Yeah, without the website and choosing which platform you would like to have, I definitely recommend open source platforms, yeah, that are not custom built, yeah, like either Shopify, WooCommerce, or Magento, yeah. However, Magento is it's a giant. It's a very complex, very expensive type of platform, yeah. So when you choose it, then of course, I guess it's similar with Amazon, yeah, tracking, yeah. Without analytics, without setting up the tracking between, let's say, Google Ads, if you will do paid advertising, or Facebook ads, yeah, you will just throw a lot of money and won't know where the results are coming back, yeah. So these are the fundamentals, yeah. Of course, if we say that we have a product, we have a product market fit, we have a brand, and if we have a margin, yeah, then let's do it. Let's play the game, yeah. And then a lot of technicalities. As I said, I like to simplify things, yeah, because it can be super complex. But if you just consider paid media, owned media, and earned media, and somehow balancing between those three, and constant optimizing, A/B testing, and slowly, you can get traction and then grow, of course. Yeah.
And I could add to that, like, you don't have to learn and then go to the whole journey by yourself. If you want to go and say, "Hey, I want to create my e-commerce present," like, look, I have everything what Mati say on place. I have the product, I have the brand, I have the margin. Now I want to have like the e-commerce present that my business need, and you don't know how, you can leverage the knowledge of what company has Mate has. Like, they have the team, they have the know-how, they have the whole experience to help you out with the whole journey. Of course, you have to put your input, like where you want to go, what is your goals, what is your vision for the company, for the brand. But you can leverage the system in order to achieve faster goals, because there are people who doesn't like to invest, but they want the result. And it's like, if you see any basketball player or any player in any game, they need a coach, they need a person that is outside of the game, just watching you and tell you, do you are doing this wrong, you need to do this, this is where we're going, this is how we're going to do it. And sometimes, because we are doers, like a entrepreneur mode, I want to do everything, I want to achieve that, then you could do it, but then it will take longer time to do it. Like, there is a people say you cannot have everything, like, have it right now and don't pay the price, or don't pay the cost, or take it in 5 years. I mean, you pay less, like, you probably do it yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Game is actually a good analogy that you said. Yeah. Although e-commerce is e-commerce, yeah, doesn't matter
Mm.
of what, the basic principles, yeah, in whichever platform, Amazon or whatever, yeah. But there are specific games that have specific rules, yeah. So, how to play that game, yeah. Of course, many times it happens that after months or after half a year, I get a call from a client that we do either, sometimes we do consulting or coaching or full managed campaigns. Yeah, it depends of the objectives, timelines, and of course budgets. Yeah, and then client calls you and said, look, now I see why all of those things that you were talking about, yeah, all those processes, all of these systems that we were setting up, yeah, slowly, step by step. Why all of this? Yeah. Usually you don't see the purpose of things, or these basic principles that have to be done. Yeah. So of course you can skip certain steps. Yeah. And learn on your own mistakes. but sooner or later you pay the price, yeah. So either you pay the price in your own time or you pay the price in other way, yeah. So it's always balancing, yeah. I'm not saying that everything should be outsourced, yeah. Depends of your objectives, as I said, yeah, timelines and budget, yeah. I see this game, yeah, very much like, stock market, yeah. You have to you have a you have somebody who is helping you, to for your capital to grow, yeah. So it's a lot about numbers game, yeah.
And I'm talking about numbers, like how what is the trend in your country or the small country that you are handling for the business or the company that you are helping them, like are they going like up, like the train is going up in traffic, or what? Like, can you share some numbers about, I don't know, what is working more effective, like Google or Facebook or TikTok? What is the trend right now in your industry that you are seeing, or you see better result for your customers?
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, right now, yeah, mostly, let's say we see, because we actually work with international businesses, yeah, of course, as a local, I have a good view on my market, yeah, and Slovenian market, yeah, but more or less I see international market and Europe, what's happening, yeah. But if I go back to your question, yeah, Slovenia, where I'm from, it's actually a very good testing market, yeah, because in the old times when e-commerce was starting in Europe, yeah, we had a couple of very strong international global players that started here. So it's actually the market that I don't recommend to people to start with because it's small. You very quickly come to the plateau, yeah. Then you ask yourself why to start on this small market. It's very hard. It's very competitive. Why not to go straight forward to one of the bigger ones, yeah, or US, yeah, and start there because maybe you need slightly a bigger push investment to start with more research, more preparation, but the reward is much greater. Yeah. So Slovenia, I would actually include one of the specialists that are actually working on paid owned or earned channels. Yeah. Most of them would agree. Yeah. Our market, Slovenian market, it's very challenging because of purely because of the competition amount of everything being online, yeah. Of course, things that are trendy and what's actually working, it's not always the same, yeah. So of course, I think if I remember, yeah, we were working much before with, let's say, TikTok, yeah, in other countries, yeah. I think it came into Slovenia half a year ago, and then everybody were going there, yeah. So,
Mm,
but it doesn't mean that that channel was the most profitable, yeah. So
true.
if I would use the basic Pareto rule, yeah, 80-20, I still think that 80% of the market share is actually in the hands of Google and all of the platforms, yeah, including YouTube and so on, plus Meta, yeah, and then there are others, yeah. But I see that this trend, yeah, slowly is decreasing, yeah. Let's say Google, yeah, we see that slowly, ironically, even Microsoft or Bing ads are getting a very tiny share, yeah, in search advertising, yeah. So there are variations here, but still the biggest, the strongest players are, as I said, Google and Facebook, and then you have others, smaller ones or more niche, yeah, more specific. And of course, the idea is that you are using various channels, yeah, and not only paid ones, yeah, also the other channels for growth, yeah. Of course, building margin, not just the revenue and running, yeah.
True, true. I wanted to, before we end up, I wanted to specify again to the viewer and the people who are listening, like the website is on the description. They have like a book strategy session that you can just click and go direct to meet, set up a meeting with them, and then they're gonna explain you everything. Take a look from their journey. I just wanted to highlight again. This is opportunity that we have for scale the business even further. Like not only think about the one platform. Like as my grandma say, don't put the eggs in one only basket. So that's the idea. So um, I also wanted to mention that we have a tremendous opportunity now because e-commerce is growing and growing and growing, and I don't see it's going to stop right now. We see the potential that happened in the pandemic when everybody have to leverage the e-commerce system, and even though that people like me prefer to go to the shop and then buy something face to face, or people like my grandma who prefer to go with a local shop and then talk, have a little conversation with a person who served them the I don't know the meat and everything. We still have a lot of potential people coming to the game, and then people like the younger generation love more the e-commerce platform. That we are also using more the mobile device and connecting and interacting and buying, shopping. This is like a great time to be in the game, as you mentioned. But do it with the expert. So, Matei, just to wrap up, like, what is like you wanted to like if say something that we don't want to miss before we close up this conversation.
Yeah, still, as I mentioned before, yeah, it's general in business, yeah. It's about managing finances and relationships, yeah. Either if you're in digital business, both of those two aspects are important, yeah. So, you have to understand your numbers, yeah. Without this, it's difficult to be successful, especially because of the competition. There are more and more opportunities, but you have to understand your numbers, yeah. And with all of this complexity growing, now AI coming and everything, all these tools related to AI, yeah, one mind, one person, it's difficult to actually understand all of those aspects, yeah. I had the privilege to actually, when I started, I actually was using many of these tools, but I can't handle all of this, yeah. So one way or another, you need relationships in a team to succeed long term. Yeah, it's a game. It's a long term game. Yeah, you have to understand the numbers, and it's good to have a team. Either to have it, just as a consultants, not to actually learn only from your mistakes, or if you see that maybe you would like to focus on other aspects of your business, yeah, then it's interesting to actually hire specialists or a team, yeah, like you are Wildo are doing, yeah, with Amazon, amazing work, yeah. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing with us, and then that hopefully help some entrepreneur though who's have doubt about how that work, how that system could be implemented in their business. Again, I'm going to share the link is in the description, or you can email me or reach out to me, and I can give you all the information for this amazing company that you are part of. And then I want to thank you for coming to the show today, for coming for the platform, sharing your idea, and of course I want to say it's not going to be the last that I'm going to go to Slovenia. So I saw the team. You invited me to a little barbecue there. It was really cool. I still remember.
oh,
And then
absolutely, it was amazing.
yeah, and then we're gonna keep doing those type of things that build relationship and also build business between Amazon e-commerce and beyond. Thank you, Matei, for coming. Thank you guys for listening, and see you in the next one.
Thank you.